Hello, I am the Story Girl, and welcome to the story of the Snow Queen, Part 3, The Princess and the Little Barefooted Girl. If you're new to our January stories, we are telling the story of the Snow Queen in 5 parts, and this is Part 3. If you just barely stumbled on us, go back and watch Parts 1 and 2, so you'll know what's going on in the story. I'll go ahead and put them up here in the cards. Wah, wah, said the laughter. Gerda wiped her eyes and looked down and saw a little black bird. Looked down and saw a black bird, a raven. Was he laughing at her? Ha 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 ha! Oh, said he, I forgot that you do not speak, raven, but I do speak human, said the bird. I was just wondering, little girl, why are you crying? And why are you here alone in the woods where a little girl should not be? Oh, Gerda rose to her feet and gave a little curtsy. How do you do, Mr. Raven? I'm afraid that I'm lost. I'm looking for my friend. And she told him the very long tale of how Kay had been lost in the winter. She had drifted down the river, spent so long in the house of the charmed one, and finally had decided to move on. While she was telling the tale, the raven kept nodding his head and making little raveny sounds. Yes, yes, it could be. It could be. And here I am, crying on a rock because I don't know what to do next and it's getting very cold. Even though it's getting very cold, little girl, I was drawn to you because of your great warmth. Tell me, this little friend of yours, did he have hair on his head? Yes, beautiful golden hair, said Gerda. Oh, yes, humans usually do. And was he, barefooted like you? Oh, no, he was wearing little boots the last time I saw him. Ah, yes, that would fit. Do you know him? Have you seen Kay? Gerda jumped to her little bare feet. Maybe, said the crow as he danced about with Gerda. Sit down again and I will tell you what I know. Just down the pathway from where you sit crying in your bare feet, there's a beautiful golden castle. Excuse me, said Gerda, would that be a castle for people or a castle for ravens? Yes, it's a good question. It is a castle for people, said the raven. And I just happen to have a lady friend who lives there, a tame little raven who helps out every once in a while baking pies. She's awful good at baking pies. Anyhow, my lady friend recently told me that the princess of the castle has been growing a bit dull and a bit bored. She has wanted, better than anything else, a playmate to play with. She's been wanting this playmate for some time because her castle is full of people who stand stock still and silent, guards in golden uniforms, and servants in silver and purple furs, and attendants wearing richly gowned robes, dripping with jewels, but all of them are silent and grave, and not good company for a human princess. She sent out messages. She sent them out all around, asking anybody who wanted to come if they would come, if they could entertain her with witty jokes and stories, if they would be a good playmate, they could stay with her. Well, this call was answered by a great many young men and boys. They lined up outside of the gates as far as the eyes could see. I saw them myself. I did. And they stood in line for such a long time. Many of them became very hungry, and more of them became very thirsty, and some of them were smart enough to bring a sack lunch. But those ones who did weren't going to share with those who did not. Better to let the princess see the competition in their hungry, thirstified state, they thought, as they munched on their sandwiches. But by the time they had entered the room where the princess sat, they had seen the guards in their golden coats and the servants dressed in rich purple silver furs, and seen all the attendants draped in robes of jewels and diamonds, that they, when they came to her, could only say the last word that she had said. And that's not the kind of companion that the princess was wanting, and so she would have them ushered away by the guards in golden coats. And this went on for several weeks, until just last Tuesday. "Oh, what happened last Tuesday?" said Gerda. "Oh, last Tuesday, my lady friend tells me, there came to the castle a certain small boy, just about the princess's own age, actually, and he had golden hair, very bright." "Oh, it must be Kay. Kay has that same kind of hair," said Gerda. "Oh, yes, it could be," said the raven. "And he had a little pack that he had on his back." "Oh, that must have been his sled," said Gerda. "He did have his sled the last time he was seen." It could be," said the raven. "Well, this little boy was so bright and witty, he came right up to the princess and said, 'My dear madam,' making a successful bow, 'I do not wish to be your companion at all, but I do wish to come and see who you are. I have heard of your wit, and I have heard of your goodness, and I would like to know you better.' Well, the two sat and chatted like old friends and played in the garden, and soon the princess determined that this would be her companion, and made him a prince." "Oh, that must be Kay. He is so bright and does know his multiplication tables," said Gerda. Good. Then it must be him. You have found him. "I must go and see him," said Gerda. She was now very excited and could hardly contain her dancing feet. "Oh, please, Mr. Raven, please, could you take me to him?" "Well, that is the difficulty. What I mean is, I have a lady friend who works in the castle. It's true, but I myself am not a castle raven, and wouldn't be allowed in, especially not with a strange girl like yourself." "Oh, is there anything that can be done? I must see Kay. I must know that it is him and that he is all right." Good. Yes, I could. "You wait here, crying girl with bare feet," said the raven, "and I will be just back. I'm going to talk to my lady friend." And he spread his wings out and flew off. Gerda waited and waited. She waited all afternoon. When the raven finally flew back through the trees, Come! My lady friend says that she knows a side entrance into the castle. Come now." And so Gerda followed the raven, who flew ahead of her and stopped every once in a while, calling back very encouraging words, which she appreciated very much, as her feet were beginning to ache and be pricked by the hard ground. Come along, young girl, come along. Oh, you're going along. You're doing wonderfully well on your two little feet. Come along, come along. And finally they reached the beautiful golden castle and tiptoed their way to a side door which had just been creaked open by another raven, and this one with a pretty bow around her neck. Oh, I see, said the raven. You have brought a little girl to me. Good, good, good. Come this way, come this way. And both raven, girl, and other raven walked through the door and closed it quietly behind them. And as they walked, they could hear the sounds that seemed to be coming from a wall. No, from the brushes of wind next to them. Sounds of laughter and of galloping hooves and of dogs barking. Are dogs here? Oh, all the dogs are asleep. What you are hearing is the sound of dreams, the dreams of the prince and princess as they rush into the bedchamber, pick up their sleeping minds and rush away to the hunt, to the balls, to the parties that happen in Slumberland. Oh, Gerda walked on in the darkness, following the sounds of the bird feet in front of her hopping along. Come along, come along, come along, said the tame castle raven as they walked along. They creaked open a door, and Gerda peeked inside. The room was all gilded and gold, and looked very splendid, with a single palm tree growing up. Oh no, it could not be a palm tree. It was made of a single pearl, carved and beautifully shining, and it had long overhanging branches, and from these two branches hung two golden chains. Connected to the golden chains were two little beds, floating right next to each other, each bed in the shape of a perfect pearly white lily. And inside these beds, two little sleeping forms swung quietly back and forth. That one, whispered the lady friend crow, pointing with her wing. That one is the prince, a fair one. So Gerda tiptoed over, pulled back the covers, and saw the golden hair. It must be Kay. And Gerda was so pleased she began to hum. The song of the sun, and the little sleeping figure stirred and turned his head and opened his eyes. It was not Kay. Gerda sat down on the floor with a thump as the little boy, who had the same kind of bright yellow hair as Kay, but not the same eyes, nose, or mouth, called out, "Who's there? Who is it? What's going on?" Suddenly, the whole room seemed to be filled with light, and Gerda, sitting down on the ground, wept and with her raven friends all dancing about. "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? There's a strange little girl in our bedchamber." And then the princess popped her head up and looked around, came over to Gerda and lifted up her hands and said, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Gerda, through her weeping, teary, puffy eyes, told the whole story, leaving Granny's house, being with the charm woman, chatting with the ravens, and the prince was not Kay. "I'm sorry," said the little prince. "I'm sorry I'm not Kay. But "We will take care of you now," said the little princess. The young prince, who was every inch the gentleman, allowed Gerda to have his own little lily bed, and she was so tired and puffy and weepy that she instantly fell asleep. No, it had not been Kay living in the golden castle. Oh no, Kay was in a very different castle, far away in the northern lands. Kay was in a castle not made of gold, but made instead of ice. Your throne room has cracks in it, said Kay as he walked into the room. Oh, my dear, said the Snow Queen, this is not my throne room. This is the very special part of my throne room I have been saving just for you. You see, all the panels on the walls are pieces to a great puzzle, a very important puzzle. Kay straightened up. A very important puzzle. Puzzles are very important after all. Yes, my darling, said the Snow Queen. You must push the panels from side to side, and as you can see, when they are put in their proper order, they spell a word. A word, said Kay. What word? Just to show you how kind a person I am, said the Snow Queen, I will tell you the word. The word you're trying to make out is eternity. Eternity, said Kay, his little fingers already turned blue from the icy cold of the northern country. Eternity. This is the eternity puzzle, said the Snow Queen. Go in. It's all for you. Kay stepped in. He saw that the puzzle was not just on the floor. It was not just the walls, but it was also the ceiling. All parts of this enormous room were part of this enormous puzzle. He concentrated so carefully on making the very first move of the panel that he did not hear the thunk and click of the door closing behind him. Gerda slept very long. Gerda slept very late. Gerda slept without dreaming of a thing, not a hunt or a barking dog, or even her old granny back in the town. When she woke, she rubbed her eyes and looked around and saw she was not at home. She was in the beautiful golden castle, and there were servants all dressed in furs and purple, waiting to attend her every need, give her nice, soft, fur-lined boots and a beautiful silken dress, and led her into the breakfasting room. Little Gerda, said the princess, you may be our companion as well. You must stay here with us. I insist. Gerda looked around at the beautiful castle. It was warm. It was safe. She thought about Kay. If it pleases your highness, said Gerda in her very best manners, I cannot stay. Why can't you? Said the prince. I must go and find Kay. I must be on my way as quickly as possible, though I do thank you for all of your kindnesses. And there were more kindnesses to come. The prince and princess, though they were very upset that Gerda would not stay, decided that they would assist her in her journey, and they provided her with the warmest of warm coats, for winter was coming very fast upon them, and with the sturdiest of sturdy boots, and a little muff, which is a little cylinder of fur that you stick your hands in to keep them warm. And they gave her a fine golden coach, for they had several and didn't need all of them, with coachman, 2 footmen, and 2 attendants to ride with her as she journeyed through the world. And they decided that it would be best if a friend went along with her. And so the raven, the first one, the wild raven of the woods, who had very recently married his lady friend's sweetheart, decided that he would journey with her. He hopped up into the golden coach and puffed out his feathers very importantly and called out, "Come, come along, we must be off." And Gerda thanked the prince and princess and curtsied her very best curtsy yet, and hopped aboard the golden coach, rumbled along, chatting with the raven, and hoping that she would soon find her beloved Kay. Soon they entered a very dark wood. There was no way around this wood. This road was the only road that would go to the other side of the land, and they had to pass through this very dark wood. They looked out. Gerda and the raven, with wide eyes at the very, very dark trees. Even though it was so dark, the golden coach seemed to shimmer in the darkness, and very suddenly they heard a loud sound, sounded like a whistle coming through the trees. "That's gold!" And suddenly the entire coach was set upon by robbers. There is more to come. Join me next time for The Snow Queen, Part 4, The Little Robber Girl, and Other Mishaps. If you had the chance to continue your journey or stay in a golden castle, which one would you choose? Remember, you are the main character of your story, and your story goes in the direction that your choices make. I'm the Story Girl. Thank you for joining the story. Bye!